There was a watershed moment when a member of the church said, we need to be doing something, not just for ourselves, but for the community. Clanton, Alabama is an old railroad town, halfway between the state capital of Montgomery and Birmingham. And it is a town of about 9,000 population. Chilton County has a high poverty level. 20% has food deficiencies. They do not have the resources to have adequate food for an entire month. And that is the population we're responding to. And what is a beans and rice ministry, it defines who we are in this community now.
This is a community that loves to help others. And it's not really to make themselves feel better. It's just a wonderful, warm and nurturing community.
Trinity as a parish has had two lives. In 1954, the Diocese of Alabama purchased a building on this site, and the church was closed in 1970. And in the early 90s, some of us in the diocese were saying, you know, there's no parish between Birmingham and Montgomery. And somebody with a great corporate memory said, but we have this property in Clanton. And some of us came down and looked at it and said, why not? Folks from 5 or 6 parishes gave it a good cleanup, and in September of 1994, the second life of the congregation began.
We never were able to sustain anything until Bill King decided to come down here on a fairly regular basis and be committed to this place. And his consistency, I think, is a lot of the reason that they've begun to grow and have done so well.
We started with the basics, good worship, cleaning up the church so when people walk in, they feel it to be a warm place of prayer and spiritual life. In 2005 came the Beans and Rice Ministry. And it comes from a ministry started 35 years ago in a Presbyterian church in Prairie Grove, Arkansas. Once a month, we provide 15, 16, 17 pounds of food.
The only advertisement that they do is this wonderful little sandwich board, but they have a regular, steady stream of people. They serve over 50 families just today.
There's a goodly number of folks who come who are retirees, but we also have young families, we have Hispanic families.
It's a great example of a small parish where people come not just to be fed themselves, but then reach out to feed others.
It's not the only thing that defines us, but it's a powerful way we're known in this community. So much so that when I was going to get my hair cut at a local barbershop, the person said, oh, you're the priest from the Beans and Rice Church. And I knew at that moment that we had claimed a spot in this community for something other than just being the Episcopal Church. Palm Sunday is one of the opportunities we have to share some of the liturgy with other congregations. The Roman Catholic parish is just 3 blocks away. We receive their prayers, they receive ours. This year we will have a donkey as simply a visual sign of what actually took place 2,000 years ago.
It's just like a family, you know, everybody has their different opinions about things, but at the end of the day, it's all loving and we're just happy to help each other, and that's really what guides the community.
One of the strengths of our congregation is that everyone knows everyone, and everyone counts. You need everyone to participate, and that is what sustains the congregation itself, spiritually. You said lunch? Yeah. Good. When I got here in 2003, there was no bell in the bell tower, and I said it will cost us about $2,000 to buy a used metal bell and have it installed. Well, there was an older member who said, I will give the money. It so happened that this man is deaf, and on the first day after it was installed, he rang the bell and never could hear it. Today, his hearing has been restored, and he now, for the first time, can hear the bell ring.
When churches are small, they're scared that they're not going to survive. Trinity is a place where I don't think that fear is there. They are thriving because they're reaching out to others. So they're not sort of closed in on themselves.
There's a lot of enthusiasm from our 94-year-olds all the way down to our 18-month-olds. They're just full of life and curiosity.
I think the most rewarding aspect is the understanding that the lives of individual families have been affected by the presence of our style of church in this community.